So, this past Thursday, It Chapter 2 just came out in theaters. Been waiting a long time for this one, 2 years to be exact. I love the first one, and this one did not disappoint whatsoever. Hey, buddy. And I was impressed. A lot of people were were getting me down for a couple days until Jason on Sinister Cinema. I listened to his reviews. I trust his opinion, but I won't say anyone else. But they were saying acting like CGI was bad on the young kids, and I did not see what they were talking about. The only thing I could understand was the hotel they were staying in. Someone mentioned that are they going to talk about who runs this hotel, and I get that, but anything else, I thought this movie was great. It I had a smile on my face the whole time, and it didn't seem like a 3-hour movie. I saw it twice. I wanted to wait till the second time so that I could have a good review, because the first time I forgot to take notes because new to doing this period, but took some notes on the second try. Was a little bit more, familiar with what's going on, and a lot of people talking about Bill Hader. Yes, he killed it, but James Ransone as Eddie, he really killed it, and he completely embodied what Jack Dylan Grazer did in the first one. He had that same exact attitude and softness and sentiment for his friends that he had in the first one, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'd say his performance got me feeling emotional more than anyone's. I mean, definitely with what him and Bill Hader were doing together is what had, got me emotional with it. But, James Ransone, he really did a lot of work. I just had to mention him because a lot of people I see, they're talking about how great Bill Hader did. Yeah, Bill Hader's a great actor, but yeah, no one really, I feel like, hasn't talked that much and spoke about how great James Ransone did on Eddie. He really embodied what Jack Dylan Grazer did on that. Isaiah Mustafa as adult Mike, he really, really did good because he's kind of the lead in getting everyone back into knowing what their past was, what they forgot after they left Derry. And a lot of talks before this was coming out, when they were making it, that he was going to be a drug addict, and none of that. They definitely said that in a newspaper article, that his parents, two crackheads, died in the fire, but that could just be, police just making up some randoms just to give this story or the investigation and ending. The crackheads died in a fire. They might not, Mike never really speaks on if they were crackheads. They just show the article. But yeah, he wasn't he wasn't a drug addict or anything, but he still was. He had a lot of rough stuff going on because he had all those memories that the other adult losers didn't have. He kept everything the whole time, the whole 27 years. They forgot everything, and he kept all that. So that's gonna affect you a little bit different, I'd say. And yeah, he did pretty good. He definitely reminded me of what the old Mike from the original TV series It did, and I liked it. I liked what he did. Jay Ryan as Ben would be my least favorite adult actor. He just seems a little bit younger. Didn't get as much of the spotlight. I don't know if because they spent so much money getting James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, and Bill Skarsgård, that they had to cheapen up on the couple people, but Oh, a lot of people said that they didn't have the triangle between Ben, Bill, and Beverly going, but I saw it the whole time. I saw Ben giving his little little look backs, like, Bill and uh, Beverly are giving the googly eyes. Damn, I want my chance. I saw all that. Not much connection between Bill and Beverly, but the fact is, the reason that is because they don't even remember having crushes on each other. They don't remember their past at all, and I think that that once that they did and they do have the kiss, yeah, it's a little emotionless, but it's really kind of like out of instinct, and I feel like it's more like them kissing to relive the memory in a way. I don't know, but I noticed a lot of people giving it bad reviews, and Muschietti said, the director, he said, if you enjoyed the first one, tonally, this is the same exact tone as the first one, and he's spot on. It is exactly the same tone. When they're introducing them as their adult and they're outside of Derry, the world seems a lot brighter, which I thought was funny. Was And then once they get to Derry, it's almost like a different type world, like it's a lot darker in Derry, and I like that darkness in Derry. Like it's an old, close knitted town that has dark secrets, and they keep them, and it it just doesn't seem like it's upgraded with the technology. A lot of stores are closed down, old movie theaters and stuff. It just seems like one of those old closed towns that's dying, but the townies won't accept it. Maybe, I don't know, but it was really cool. I loved all the flashbacks. They were talking about CGI, that Ben and Richie looked like drool pods or something stupid. The stuff I was hearing, and I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna walk into? I didn't even notice anything with the CGI. I guess here and there, if they did a really good job at not lingering those scenes, because I guess if you made those scenes longer, you might have started to notice the CGI they did on them. But they did really good at doing quick shots, like where you don't get a chance to really see. So I thought they did good on that, and you were able to, just kind of remember them as they were. I don't think CGI was that big of a deal. I think it was just fine, and I really liked them going back and doing the flashbacks, even though a lot of people said, well, what's so important about this that you couldn't have shown it in the first one? Well, I think that them being able to show you that they connected, okay, they're adults now. In a way, it could be a completely different, this is a different person. It's not the same. It's not, you know, the same kids as an adult. It's a different human being playing this person. So when they show you a flashback, James McAvoy reliving his past, seeing himself, you know, going to the sewer to try and figure out what Pennywise did, it connects you to his adult self, and like, yes, this is a memory that he's reliving and noticing, and this is him as an adult going back and thinking about that memory, about that screwed up memory that would have haunted him his entire life if he didn't leave Derry, if there wasn't that haziness after he left. And Stephen King and Andy Muschietti both make cameos. I didn't notice Andy Muschietti's cameo the first time, but the second time I was like, hey, that's funny. That's him in the drugstore when Andy goes in there, or Eddie goes in there to see the old prescription doctor that he used to go to as a kid. And Stephen King's cameo was really funny too. When he's the little shopkeeper, goes in when Bill sees his old bike in the window, that he used to ride. And well, I got into all that and didn't even talk about the incredible intro this movie has. If anyone knows how to do a horror intro, it's Andy Muschietti, because not once but twice I said, he has killed it with both his intros. First, in chapter 1, when you get the Georgie death, the iconic Georgie death, and now with this chapter 2, you get the brutal, you know, beat two gay men are at the dairy carnival, and there's always going to be some asshole bullies in dairy, and these guys are just like the same group of kids that used to pick on the original losers, but it's a different group. And off the start, they're giving the gay couple crap for no reason, just like, what's so romantic, just real mean. And one of the gay guys, he makes some snarky remarks, and the pretty boy bullies can't take that and with their insecurities, so they have to beat the living crap out of both of these guys, kick the inhaler out of the one guy's hand that has asthma, and literally throw him over the bridge into the lake, which you'd see from the trailer when you see it looks like somebody's in the water, and Pennywise is trying to reach out to them like the evil lifeguard rescuer he is. But yeah, and then you see, I can't believe his partner didn't jump right over the bridge into the water to save him. But I mean, as soon as he comes down and around, he sees Pennywise, and I noticed he didn't do it. I don't believe he did it in the first one, but Bill Skarsgård had this really cool grin in this one that he didn't. I don't think he did in the first one. It was a really cool grin, evil, and not as goofy, just pure sadistic, and takes a chunk out of this guy, and is wiggling it around his mouth, and the swarm of balloons come, and you never really. I was surprised. I thought that both of the partners would have been killed and perished, but it was just the one, and I was surprised they didn't ever go back. Sorry, guys. I literally just fell. Sorry about that. But I just lost where I was at. Yeah, I thought he was gonna kill both of them, but he didn't. He just did the one, and they never got back to him. So I mean, he's not really important to the story, but I thought they might have tried to question him, like Mike would have questioned him. But also there's even 2 more gruesome deaths with 2 kid deaths. It's not one, it's not only that they did one the first movie, but the couple in the first movie, what am I talking about? But they go for the second one. There's a little girl with a birth defect, a little sad girl, and she files a lightning bug to Pennywise, and she sees right through him at first and says, you're not my friend, you're creepy. And he starts pulling a gag on her, acting like no one wants to play with the clown, poor clown. And he tells her that he can, that everyone's mean to him, and she's like, oh, everyone's mean to me too, because of this. And he's like, that's so crazy, I could blow that away. She's like, really? And then she comes closer, and yeah, that's a good scene. I loved it. I had a smile on my face. I might be sadistic for that one, but to see that Muschietti had the balls to do that, awesome. And then the second one is, yeah, well, the kid that you see from the trailer when they're in the fun house and Bill is trying to break the glass. Well, figures that kid actually lives in the house that Bill grew up in. And when he's riding the bike around that he bought at the Stephen King shop, he goes past the drain that his brother got pulled into, and the kid hears Bill James McAvoy going crazy, trying to get, like, talking to Pennywise, and he tells him that he has heard voices in the bathtub, and Bill starts freaking out, and saying, what kind of voices? You need to move, you need to tell your parents to move out of here, which I was thinking, so stupid. Tell the kid that it's not real, to remember it's not real, and to not fear it. Kind of like, I feel like he kind of put some fear into the kid and made it a little bit worse. But yeah, he tells the kid, yeah, tell your parents you gotta move. Like, yeah, any parent's gonna if I came home when I was 12 years old, if I came home and said, Mom, Dad, we gotta move, yeah, they're looking at me like I'm crazy. But yeah, he and then he goes back, and Bill gets that skateboard, and it says in blood, you won't be there for him either. So he knows he's gonna go after the kid, because when he's going crazy looking at the sewer before the kid walks up on him, he has a flashback to his younger self, and he went up there and wanted to know why, out of all the kids, why he would choose Georgie. And he basically tells him that it was because Bill wasn't with him. So which is like, why would you ask this Pennywise? It's like, he killed him because that's what he does. He kills and eats people because he's psycho and lives on their fear. But yeah, so that's a big thing. He feels like Bill's responsible for everything, that any of these deaths, or anybody, if any of his friends get hurt, or like Stanley, who slit his wrist and didn't even make it back to there, he feels that's on him because Pennywise only touched, left his spirit, his whatever on because of his wanting to find Georgie and figure out what happened so badly, and them going down to the sewers and into the house and kept pushing and pushing. He felt like that was all on him. But yeah, Andy Bean played Stanley, which didn't get much time, but they made him look just like the young version of Stanley, with the haircut and everything, which I actually was glad they gave him a little bit more than I thought at the end. They gave him that little note that he sends to everyone. But I like him. He's a good actor. Wish he could have got more time, because I love him as Alec Holland in Swamp Thing. But yeah, there's also at the end, when they go back to the house, because Bill is very sad that kid that lives in his house was killed in the fun house, very brutally, right in front of him. And they have an awesome scene in the house where a decapitated Stanley head, just turns into like a disgusting spider, and it's disgusting and awesome. You see like the legs busting out and ooze dripping off the legs as they're like busting out of Stan's decapitated head, out of like his eyes, and his face starts bubbling, and he's like, what's happening to me, Richie? And he's like, Bill Hader's like, I don't know, man, you're dead, first off. But that one was really creepy. And after that, the head, the spider head, Stanley head, is like attacking Richie. Bill's trying to pull him off, and Eddie is so scared that he's like basically just in the corner, and Bill's flipping out like, get the knife, and Eddie's just standing there like, no, speechless. And then finally Ben comes to save the day because they were locked in separate rooms, and that's the scene when he's cutting his Ben's stomach. But yeah, Ben finally comes, and Bill flips on Eddie like, all these people have died too. Who did you want Richie to die too? Like, we can't afford to lose anybody else. And Eddie's just like, please, Bill, don't be mad at me. Like, I didn't, of course I didn't want Richie to die. I just didn't know what to do. I was so scared. And you just feel for Eddie. Like, he embodies Jack Dylan Grazer. Like, could you remember that fearful kid? And you really feel for him, and you can just tell Bill's like, I'm not mad at you. You just can't give in to what he, like, that's what he wants, is for you to be scared and fear him, but you can't give in to it. We have to, we have to be stronger, or people are gonna die. And I thought that was an amazing scene. And with Eddie, being scared there, they go down into, its cave, and, we finally get that scene that was so horribly done in the last version of it, chapter 2, with the spider, where they go full spider, but the top part is still Pennywise. So it worked for me. And he has these like crazy tentacles that almost look like monsters from The Thing or something. Like, you could tell Andy Muschietti added, of like, with the new monsters like that Pennywise will embody, that he he took from some of the classics, which was really cool. But so one of the things is they're in the cave, they do the ritual of Chud. It does not work because Mike was lying to them, and he did not disclose all the information, because he ripped off a piece of the artifact so that they wouldn't find out that the last people that tried to trap Pennywise to kill him in this artifact, they didn't believe, and they died trying to do the ritual. And he didn't want them to find out because he knew they would never go along with it, and he knew that these Native American people, or whatever they were, they didn't believe, so it wouldn't work, but it would work with them. But it still doesn't work. And Pennywise definitely screws with them, and they end up separating, and they have to try to stay alive at this point because Pennywise is pissed. And at one point, Richie gets hit with the deadlights, and there's no way anyone that would walk in this is getting it, because he's at his like huge spider form, and it is awesome. And Eddie finally steps up, and this weapon, that just one of those like stove pokers that Beverly grabbed, she tells Eddie that this will kill a monster if you believe it. And he keeps saying to himself, this will kill a monster if I believe it. And while Richie is in the deadlights, floating, Eddie keeps saying to himself, this will kill a monster if I believe it. And then he chucks it, and it goes right into Pennywise's big open mouth. And it was awesome. but you could tell what was gonna happen as soon as Eddie starts gloating that he thinks he killed Pennywise, and it is just heartbreaking to see that happen. Uh, Especially after you see him overcome his fears and help his friend finally, and he ends up losing his life in the end, after, facing his fears and, being there for his best friend. And it was awesome. And Bill Hader's performance after that, not wanting to believe that Eddie is dying or about to die, that he'll be okay, we have to get him out here, that he's just not really hurt, he wouldn't accept it, and he did not want to leave him. It was really good. I really enjoyed that, and it's really great to have seen Bill Hader transform from SNL, to just comedy, to Barry, and now this. Like, he has really stepped it up in the last 10 years, and it was an enjoyment to see. I really enjoyed this whole movie. It never lagged. It never felt like there was fillers or any scenes that didn't have to be in there. And I'm still missing. I still haven't hit everything. It's a 2-hour and 45-minute movie. Unless I do a full-on scene by scene, I'm gonna forget a couple things, because there were some really cool monsters, like the old witch lady. That one was really cool, and I think that at one point that was definitely practical, probably with some CGI, because at the end, when they bring that up again, it looks definitely practical, and that's awesome if it was. But in the end, how they kill Pennywise is, Mike said something or Eddie says, because there's a point when he's choking like one of that nasty looking infection zombie that it like starts losing its life or something, and Mike says whatever shape Pennywise takes, he has to abide by the physical form of that shape. So if he is like a spider, he could get squashed like a spider can or something. But so what they basically do is they make Pennywise feel like a small worthless clown, and just tell him how much of a loser he basically is, and make him feel like he's nothing, because in his head he thinks he's the conqueror, destroyer, eater of all worlds. And basically losers say, no, you're just a stupid clown, you're nothing. And that was pretty funny. I wasn't sure about how I liked the ending at first, but I mean, it's like, they stuck with a lot more in the book on this one, and I enjoyed that, because it's been a long time since I read that book. But I skimmed through some of it to try to reread some of the Ritual of Chud stuff, and try to catch back up on the mythological and fantasy part. Also, did anyone notice when Ben walks into that old classroom, there's a sea turtle just sitting on the teacher's desk? So there was a sea turtle in It Chapter 2. But yeah, because I heard some people were disappointed they didn't get that sea turtle. I was too. But probably for the better. But this was really good. If I was to give it a critic score, I guess 9 out of 10. But I'm going to keep it real. This was a 10 for 10 for me, because sequels rarely live up. Sequels where you gotta cast completely different actors because you need them to play an adult version doesn't rarely work. It did not work with the original TV series movie for It, even though I love that one. Still more culty nowadays, and But still, I loved that when I was a kid. First part was definitely better, but still, Andy Muschietti, he did right by these 2 chapters, and I can't wait to buy the It Chapter 1 and 2 box set all together with, I pray they do the director's cut for 1 and 2, because they never did the director's cut for the first one. But I'm hearing that there's like an hour or 2 more in this footage that Andy Muschietti has for It Chapter 2. He went 3 hours, and he had more in him. Can you believe that? He had more than 3 hours. That man is crazy, and he's awesome because he killed it. And this movie deserves it. It deserves 3 hours. It deserved 3 hours for the first one because the book, I got it put away in my drawer, but that's about, 1,500 pages? That's a big book. It is a huge book, and I think it was done right this time. It was finally done right, and I hope to see more Stephen King adaptations in the future because he is my absolute favorite. But yeah, but at 30 minutes here, this was a great review. Like and subscribe, because I'm going to be putting out a lot more footage, a lot more comic book reviews, and a lot more movie reviews and TV reviews. I'm going to be doing a lot. So yeah, see you later, guys.